Hey guys, and welcome to episode 66 of the Pixel Street Podcast, where this week I am your host. I am John Hansen, joined by Connor Kopp. How's it going, Connor?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
Oh, just the same old technical issues that we have almost every week trying to record this. Also, just a quick shout out. It is July 3rd as we're recording this right now, and there's a bunch of people outside shooting fireworks. So if you hear fireworks in the background, it's just because we are the most patriotic podcast on the internet. Joel Campos is not with us this week. He tried playing chicken with a train, and he did not win, so he is dead forever. Hopefully he'll be back next week. But on to what we're doing right now. You can find the Pixel Street Podcast on most podcast platforms on Fridays, as well as on YouTube. You can now watch the show directly on our Facebook group by searching for Pixel Street Podcast over there. And in the past, we enjoyed having new people follow our content, and we hope to keep you around. With that in mind, we have decided to run another giveaway once we reach 100 followers on our Twitter at Pixel Street Pod. We're about halfway there right now, so still got a bit of a ways to go. When we get closer, we will decide what game we will give away and everything. But yeah, be sure to give us a follow over there, like us on Facebook. What do podcast services do? Do they have like a follow thing, or is it just kind of a rating thing?
I think it's like a thumbs up thing,
you know what?
Or a like.
Give
system?
us 10 thumbs up. Whatever it is, give us 10 thumbs up. Give us 15 out of 10 stars. Whatever it takes. Give us some ratings. Let us know what you think. Let us know how we can improve, and be sure to get a hold of us so you can suggest a topic of the week when we're not doing like specific topic shows like the E3 shows. We do have a topic of the week where we will literally talk about anything that you really want us to talk about. In the past, we've gotten Mr. Potato Head. We've gotten Toy Story. I can't remember what else at the moment here, but whatever it is, let us know what you want to hear, and we will talk about it.
We were given a topic
for
this week, actually. I don't know if you caught that, but I think it might be best to wait on that one until Joel rejoins us and rises from his grave. So be on the lookout for that.
I agree. Yeah, so I will come up with a topic of the week on the run when we get there. This week, we will be discussing Remedy getting the Alan Wake rights back, the Cuphead DLC being delayed, and your beloved Star Wars Fallen Order lightsabers are being updated. Exciting stuff. We're really in just this slow time for news right now.
What are you talking about?
Gamescom.
It's such great quality news, John.
I'm not gonna lie, I am excited about the Remedy news. But let's get on to what games are coming out that we are excited for. You know what? I really haven't been paying attention to what's coming up in the next week. I've been so focused on Super Mario Maker 2, which recently came out, and I will get to that here in a bit. But I don't even know what's coming out in the next week on the top of my head.
Yeah, as far as everything goes, when Joel and I were talking last week, kind of the big notable one for this week is Sea of Solitude. You might remember that from
I completely agree.
E3. Man, it would have been
last year.
2018, was it?
Yep,
yeah.
2018.
That game looks pretty cool. It's got some really interesting backstory to it. Definitely want to be on the lookout for that. One releases on July 5th, so here in just a couple days. Any other ones you're seeing?
Real quick, just on the Sea of Solitude thing, that game is actually the thing I was most excited for coming out of EA's show last year. I mean, they didn't have much that was impressive last year, but still, it was something I was very excited about. The game looks awesome. It's gorgeous. Deals with like loneliness and depression, and it just looks like a really cool game. I'm excited. I'm interested to see how much the game will be. My guess would be like $30, knowing EA, but who knows? But regardless, I am very excited to give it a try. If you are a fan of the Stranger Things show on Netflix, Stranger Things 3, the game, is being released on the PS4 and Switch on July 4th. Kind of weird that they're putting out the game before the season comes out, right? Like, it's not out yet, is it?
I do believe the season hits the same exact day, actually. July 4th, everything drops then. So it's simultaneous launch.
Oh, all right. All right, well, that's cool then. I've never seen the show myself, but I know it's a pretty big deal. So if you are into that, definitely give it a shot. What else do we have here? You know, those look like really the two ones that I would mention, unless you are excited for Doling's Invasion or Grass Cutter Mutated Lawns.
You know how much I love cutting my grass.
Yeah, for the ultimate gardener. So yeah, if you don't have anything else to talk about, let's move on to some new... Nope, actually that's backwards compatibility, which is no longer being announced. Our games of the month, games with gold, we have Inside from July 1st to July 31st. That is an excellent game. Definitely download it. It is brilliant. I love it. From July 16th until August 15th, Big Crown Showdown. From June 16th to July 15th, Rivals of Ether. And from July 1st to July 15th, we have Castlevania Symphony of the Night. A couple of popular games in there. Inside is excellent, like I said. I know Castlevania Symphony of the Night, that's one of the more like popular Castlevanias, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of the big one that everybody talks about when they're speaking about things that are influenced by it. So I guess a big reason why that would be significant is we just got Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is kind of a spiritual successor by the same creator. So it might be a good throwback for the people that have been playing Bloodstained to go check out the direct inspiration.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Also, just today, I believe, Xbox Game Pass announced the new games coming out to the service for July. Releasing on July... Well, not releasing, but coming to the service on July 4th is Middle-earth Shadow of War. I'm excited for that. I loved Shadow of Mordor, and I just had too many things to play at the time when Shadow of War came out, so that's definitely going to be one that I download. My Time at Portia, is that how you say it?
Yes.
Okay. That is also on July 4th. I haven't looked into this at all, but I know there is a very loyal fan base behind that game. At least I don't even know if it's a series or not, is it?
I'm not positive, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it's kind of a Harvest Moon style sort of experience.
Okay. Actually, I think you're right. Yeah, I remember someone talking about that, or Stardew Valley. Also, a game that you and I were talking a little bit about before we started recording, Undertale is also coming on July 4th. This is a game that I have bought on the Switch, and I just cannot get into it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with it. I've tried to start it several times, and it just doesn't seem to be grasping me. I don't know if I'm just not starting it in the right mood or what the issue is, but... just can't seem to grab my attention.
Yeah, no, that's I don't know what it is for me either. Like, I get on it and I'm like, all right, this is like a very popular game. Everyone raves about it and everything, and I'm playing it and I'm like, this combat system just like everyone loves it so much, and I'm like, it's just not hooking me. It's just, I don't know. Like, I want to like it, and I like the characters. I love Sans and Papyrus, but everything else about that game, I'm just like, okay, this is fine. I don't know. On July 11th, we have Blazing Chrome, Dead Rising 4, and Lego City Undercover, as well as Time Spinner and Unavowed. Can't say I've heard of Blazing Chrome, Time Spinner, or Unavowed, but Dead Rising 4 is definitely one of the weaker Dead Rising games. But hey, if you have Game Pass, give it a try. Maybe you'll get some enjoyment out of it. Lego City Undercover, can't say I've played that one, but there you go. If you have kids and you want another game to play with them, give that a shot. You want to take up the rest of the free games?
Yeah, sure. Just a quick anecdote on the Xbox Game Pass games, too, while we're talking about it. 4 of those titles will be hitting PC and console Game Pass. It's Dead Rising 4, Shadow of War, Blazing Chrome, and My Time at Porsche. Lego City Undercover will be hitting console alone. And then Time Spinner, Unavowed, and Undertale will only be hitting PC. So there's a little bit to look out for with these announcements, being that there's now 2 services. I kind of feel like they should have a different naming system for them or something, as it kind of gets a little convoluted, but that's what you need to know. As far as PlayStation...
I think literally the only difference is that the PC one is called Xbox Game Pass for PC.
You're right.
Something like that.
You're right. It's just a little too close.
Yeah, for sure.
So, PlayStation Plus for July is going to feature Horizon Chase Turbo, and a last-minute change to the lineup brings in Detroit Deluxe, Detroit Become Human Deluxe, which features Heavy Rain in it as well. This was substituted for Pro Evolution Soccer 2019. Not sure if there was a rights issue or anything, but personally I think this is a much better deal anyway, as Detroit Become Human is a very, very good game, and the fact that you get Heavy Rain with it as well is pretty dang cool, so be on the lookout for that one.
All right. And then last up, we have Twitch Prime. For the month of July, you can get Aegis Defenders, Stickfold, 10-Second Ninja X, Metronomicon.
Nailed it. Much better than Joel
name.
last week. It was great watching him struggle with that one.
What'd he say? Metronomicon?
That's probably closer than what he said.
Oh, all right. Well... Too bad he's dead now.
You're right.
And also, we're going to keep pounding this into your face until you fucking recognize it. You can get free 12 months of Nintendo Online with your Twitch Prime account. That's until September 24th. It stacks on your current non-family account. Take advantage of that if you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime. All right, Connor. What have you been playing this week?
Well, we figured you might be rolling over in your grave last week, so it's a good thing you sat last week out. But Joel and I talked pretty extensively about one of the titles I've been playing, which is Destiny 2. I recently jumped back in after my dad and brother have started playing. It's been nice to be able to have something to play with them, and they have completely sucked me back into the grind, and I have been playing probably way too much of it, but I'm enjoying myself, which is weird. So...
That was weird.
Well,
you enjoyed it originally, right?
I did. Man, I've got a weird relationship with Destiny 2. Destiny 1 I had about 1,200 hours in. Destiny 2, I played a lot of when it first released, up until maybe a little over a year ago, and I just fell out. The game itself, the whole experience kind of fell apart. It became a grind fest with no meaningful rewards or purpose, really. I mean, it didn't it gave you stuff to grind, but there was no reason for grinding that stuff realistically. So I fell out pretty quick on that as my work life kind of picked up and just didn't have the time like I used to. But I'd been hearing some things that the game is in a much better place. And like I said, my dad and my brother had recently started playing it, so I decided to jump back in and give it a go. And I'm happy to report that that does seem to be the case. The game seems to be in a much better state. Some of the stuff that they seem to be struggling with before, as far as like balancing issues in PvE and PvP, are much better. Loot drops seem to be more plentiful. They changed some of the Eververse stuff, which is their microtransaction front, and it really seems like a lot of this stuff stems from the Activision split. So glad to see it happen, and yeah, I mean, I'm actually really enjoying it, and I think I'm weirdly excited for the new expansion.
That's cool. Yeah, I've been seeing you and a couple of our other friends in our group talking about it a lot, and really, I'm just so happy for Bungie. Like, I'm not a Destiny fan. I've made that pretty clear in the past. I enjoyed Destiny 2, the base game of it and everything, but I never felt a need to go back and play it. I'm very happy for them that they got away from Activision and this is just their own product now. I really think they can pull off some really cool things with it, and I mean, pretty much right now, all you hear about Destiny 2 since this split is just good things. They're really turning the ship on that game, which is awesome to see. I've thought about maybe downloading it and giving it a try again, but there's just so many other games to play. And like I said, not much of a Destiny fan, but if you are a fan of any FPS games, you have to have some respect for Bungie for what they've done with Halo and Destiny. So really cool to see what they're doing, and I don't know, maybe I'll give it a try again sometime.
Yeah, give it a go, man. I mean, it's sitting in a much better place right now than it has been in the past. It seems like they're making some really good decisions, and I think they've got a bright future ahead of them. So, that being said, what is on your list, John? What have you been playing?
So, I'm sure most people know, but I am a huge Legend of Zelda fan. I've played as many of them as I can, but one that has always been on my backlog that I never got a chance to play back in the day was Twilight Princess for the GameCube. It also released on the Wii, but I'm not about that motion control life, so I was definitely holding out on purchasing a GameCube version of the game. I got it a while ago. I just got moved into my new apartment and everything, got everything set up, so actually just today I started playing Twilight Princess, and oh man, like how is it that a game I've never played from, let's say, 14, 15 years ago, like, gives me nostalgia? Like, it's crazy, but I mean, that's just Legend of Zelda, man. It hits those notes for me at all times, it seems. It's just so good. I love the stories, I love the characters, I love the way the game feels, how it plays and everything. I'm very early in the game still. Maybe going forward I'll talk about it more and just kind of give updates on my progress with it, but man, right at the beginning here, it's got me hooked, and I'm definitely excited to play some more. Have you ever played it?
I played a little bit back in the day of Twilight Princess, and I never got a chance to finish it. It's always been one that I wanted to circle back on, but from what I remember, it was one of the darker entries into the series, as well as one of the better entries into the series. I thought it was relatively enjoyable for what I played. If I'm not mistaken, too, I think that got re-released on the Wii U with an HD remaster. Is that right?
Nope, that's Wind Waker.
I want to say Twilight did too. I'll look that up. You keep talking about it. Okay. How you been liking it so far? Coming from some of the newer Zelda games.
I mean, I've played Zelda games pretty much my entire life, so I'm just kind of I've always been set on them. But no, it's like you said, it's a much darker turn. Like, the whole entire world, all the humans are made into spirits and they don't know it, and they're just constantly living in torment and fear of all these monsters and these weird bugs and everything. And Link gets forcibly changed into a wolf. And he's like, oh my god, what's going on here? So you have to, like, go through, and where I'm at, I'm just about to go into the first dungeon, and or temple, whatever you want to call it. And I just collected all these tears of light, I think they were called, or just light tears, something like that. And I restored the first area back to its normal setting because Twilight had taken over and all these dark monsters were falling from the sky and everything. So it's definitely cool. I really enjoy it so far. The beginning part here was a bit slow, but I mean, it's a Legend of Zelda game, so once you really get into it is when the real magic happens.
Kind of par for the course with the slow beginnings there. It seems to be the staple of a Legend of Zelda game. Regarding that Wii U version, there is indeed an HD remaster for the Wii U.
Really?
Yes, sir. So that is cool.
The Wii U
was a bad console. You're
thing.
Absolutely right.
You always hear about the Wind Waker HD, but I did not know that there was a Twilight Princess one.
Yeah, that puts it at 3 different versions of the game. That's pretty nutty.
You are okay. I'm seeing the cover for it. I completely forgot about this. Yep, you were right. Wow, I can't believe I forgot that. Because I remember I was working at Best Buy when it came out, and I mean, probably because it's the Wii U, I just completely forgot like everything else about the Wii U.
This just in, folks. John has amnesia. Really, he doesn't. Next week, he doesn't even know who he is.
Well, I was gonna say I'm a fake gamer, but
not even a real game.
What else have you been playing, Connor?
So this is something you share a little bit. We've been jumping into Apex for Season 2 that just launched yesterday at the time of this recording. The Battle Pass is live. It's another $10, kind of following that same model that Fortnite has had all this time. I bought it. I believe you bought it and got double charged, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll go into that in a bit.
John's a little salty about that, but we've both been kind of jumping into it, and I've been having a blast. They've made some massive map changes. There's new weapons. There's a new hero. It seems like there's a tease of another potential hero on the way as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, massive map changes. There's some hardcore tweaks to it as well. The patch notes were huge. The install size for the update was 26 gigabytes. So tons and tons and tons of stuff that they added to this, which is awesome because this is a game that I really, really like. It really was just lacking more content in them kind of remixing the map and adding new things to the degree that they have has really kept it fresh for me. I'm jumping back into it. I hit level 100 ages ago in Season 1. And, kind of fizzled out a little bit after that just due to lack of content. But this has sucked me right back in. All kinds of new mods and whatnot. Cool stuff to play around with. I'm having an absolute blast with it. And honestly, I think I might play some more after this recording.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of big stuff came to the game. Respawn was very adamant about being out in front of everyone saying, hey, yo, this is like, we're not gonna do weekly updates like Fortnite. We want to take care of our workers and everything, and they held to that ground, which is awesome. But I do think it kind of hurt the game a little bit because while they weren't putting out new content, Fortnite and other games were. So for a bit there, Apex seemed to be taking a little bit of a hit. I think Season 2 is just reinvigorating everyone's push for that. I don't think, though, that the map changes are big enough to like really make an impact. Running through it with you guys last night, I was like, okay, yeah, there's definitely new buildings, and seeing the craters and everything is cool. The giant monsters that are like sitting in the middle of the battle zone, they're cool to look at. But they're just kind of pointless, I think, because like they don't really have any impact. It doesn't look like they stomp every now and then, and if you're under that, I'm sure it kills you. Like I just want to jump into a game to see what happens if,
just
like,
to get murdered.
I'm so close to a stomp. Yeah, just like to see if it only kills you if you're under it, or if you stand by it, it kills you. Because they stomp like what, maybe once every 10 minutes. Like they just, for the most of the match, they're just sitting there still.
Yeah, it is pretty slow.
Yeah. Onto my my Battle Pass talk. So I didn't buy the Season 1 Battle Pass. I didn't play as much as the other guys. I enjoyed the game, but just Battle Royales haven't typically been my thing so far. So I just played a little bit, and I'm planning with Season 2, playing a bunch more. So I did buy the Battle Pass, and I went to buy some coins. The $10 pack just to get the regular Battle Pass, because I don't need to pay $30 for 25 levels that I can just get on my own. I hit it, and my Xbox said that there was an error to back out and try again, so I did that. And the second time it went through, and it ended up charging me for two $10 packs of coins. So I was like, damn it. But I'm actually not salty, because I messaged Microsoft. I'm like, hey, I accidentally purchased an extra one. Can I just get my $10 back? And they gave me a refund today on it. And I'm actually jumping on Apex right now, and they did not take my coins away. So I got a $10 pack of coins for free, I guess. So there's that.
That's super cool. I think I remember actually reading something that their infrastructure doesn't have the capability to take back those currencies after they're purchased. So whenever they do refunds like that, it's kind of out of the good of their own hearts. So it's pretty cool they didn't give you much hassle on it.
No, yeah, like there was no like questioning or anything. I had like my order number and everything. I'm like, hey, I just accidentally ordered an extra. So no, that was really awesome. But yeah, no, I think Apex is something you and I, at least, I think Joel still plays quite a bit of it, but you and I think we will definitely be talking about it for the weeks to come.
Absolutely. This is something I'm going to be grinding pretty hard for a while myself, as I've always been a pretty big competitive PvP guy. And that aside, just playing this with friends or people you know, this game is so fun. It's not like a PUBG or a Fortnite where if you're not winning, you're not really having fun. Some of my favorite matches that we've played through, we've lost very quickly. So, I think we'll be playing it for quite some time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Do you have anything else you need to talk about this week?
No, it's kind of all I've been playing and checking out. It's been a pretty quiet week for me. I've got some money sitting on my Steam account, and I'm trying to decide what the heck I'm going to use it on, as there's a big Steam sale going on right now, but just haven't pulled the trigger yet. So,
all right. So my last game of the week is Super Mario Maker 2. This released last Friday, and oh boy, am I happy this game came out. So as we were talking a little bit ago, the Wii U was a very forgettable console, but what you can say about it is it had great games: Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Mario Maker 1, Smash for Wii U, just tons. Or, okay, maybe not tons. Tons of great Nintendo games. We'll say that. But Mario Maker on the Wii U was definitely something that I would watch a lot of Let's Plays on. I'm a big Game Grumps fan, and I would just watch them play through tons and tons of maps, and it was a lot of fun to watch, and I really enjoyed it, and I was always like, this is one of those games that I really want to buy a Wii U for. Finally, they announced that Mario Maker 2 was coming to the Switch. It came out, and I'm playing it, and I'm not a creative person, so I don't see myself ever making any of the maps on there. But man, do I love playing through just random made levels. It's a lot of fun. I haven't really hit anything yet that just pisses me off. But it is something that I plan on streaming here coming soon, so definitely watch out for that. But man, I really recommend you grab it if you haven't yet.
So have you played much of the single player campaign stuff on it?
Yeah, I've put about a half hour, 45 minutes into it, so I'd say a pretty good chunk.
Does it seem like a pretty quality thing, or does it seem like it's really just meant to kind of give you some ideas and stuff for building things? That's kind of the alluring thing for me, as I'm not a super creative type with that kind of stuff, and I'd look to more just play it as a regular Mario game. Is that something that you think is a good quality, or is more of a second thought?
I would say it's more of a good quality thing, because you start it up and the story is just you were building Princess Peach's castle, and then a dog hits the switch thing that is actually a button in the like maker section of the thing to like restart your project. Well, he hits that, so the entire Peach's castle just disappears, and I'm like, that's an awesome like opening. Like that's like so acknowledgeable of what this game is. It's like, yeah, we're in a game. What of it? So yeah, you have three Toads that are working on three different sections of the castle at all times. Toadette is the captain of the crew, and you just go to her and be like, hey, I have these coins. I want to build this certain section of the map. And after you play a few levels, they will pop up. So all of the levels in here are Nintendo made. It's no like random community made ones. So these are very quality made levels. And so since they are drawing from all these different Mario games. You have Mario 1, 3, Super Mario World, 3D Mario World, and New Super Mario Brothers. Like, it's just complete randomness of what you're gonna get. So it really keeps you on your toes. It's not something like any other Mario game where you're like let's say you're like in the desert section of Super Mario 3. You're just gonna have desert section after desert section. Like, I went from like a desert level to the next one I was in an underground level to the next one I was in the air. Like, it's just completely random. Really keeps you on your toes because it's also swapping between all those at different times. And there are times that you will have a certain finishing requirements. So like the one that I got stuck on for a bit last night was I had to get through this boo house, but I could not touch the ground after leaving it. So the map was literally called no jumping allowed. So if you just jump once, if you walk off a ledge, if something gets behind you and just knocks you up into the air, if you hit the ground again before you hit the flagpole, you can't finish and you have to just start over. So some really interesting stuff with that. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to keep playing, but I do think that the community projects is going to be what is always going to be what really drives this game going forward. But if you don't have internet, there's a ton of Nintendo made Mario levels in here, and that's just awesome.
That's awesome to hear. I was pretty stoked to hear that they actually included something like that this time around, and to hear that it's, kind of a more well thought out thing. That's pretty alluring.
Yeah, I do think that them adding a single player into this was 100% because the Nintendo Switch Online is a paid subscription now. If this was a free thing, I think we probably would have gotten just Mario Maker 1 Deluxe or whatever. But I think they saw, they're like, okay, if people have to pay for this now, we need to put more in here so that for the people that aren't playing online, they can go to this at any time and play it. So it's really cool. Another good move on Nintendo. There is also a pack with the game. You pay $10 more for a year subscription, which is half of what a year subscription usually is, which is already dirt cheap at like $20. So if you don't have Nintendo Switch Online yet, I definitely recommend grabbing that for $70. Definitely worth it. Okay, so Connor,
sure,
let's get into the news.
Let's make it happen.
All right. So first up, this is a news story that I'm actually very excited to see. So Remedy has acquired the Alan Wake rights from Microsoft. This is from Oscar Deas of GameSpot. With a little update here, Remedy has told GameSpot it could bring Alan Wake to different platforms. The company went on to say it had nothing to announce at present, and the original story is as follows. Alan Wake developer Remedy has acquired the series publishing rights from Microsoft. The company announced the news in a message to investors, simply stating the publishing rights of Alan Wake games are reverted to Remedy. Alan Wake and its spin-off American Nightmare were both published by Microsoft on Xbox 360, but self-published by Remedy on PC. The developer now solely owns the rights, it seems, though it's unclear what this means for the franchise going forward. GameSpot has contacted Remedy to ask what the future holds, blah blah blah, and we got that update. So, Connor, have you played many Remedy games?
I gotta be honest with you, I have pretty much only played Quantum Break for Remedy.
Okay, that's a good game too. So that was a very underrated game, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fantastic for what it was. I do have Alan Wake and American Nightmare in my library. I just haven't got around to them.
I got you. Yeah, so Quantum Break was my first Remedy game that I played with them. Like I said, I thought it was very underrated, very well-made game. Alan Wake, I started playing soon after I played Quantum Break because I liked it so much. I haven't gotten to American Nightmare yet, but Alan Wake was awesome. During E3 this year, though, when Microsoft was showing the Blair Witch Project, I really was hoping that that was an Alan Wake game, because it really just felt like it. Like in a first-person view, he was just like holding up a flashlight, which is like the big thing with Alan Wake. So I was kind of disappointed to see that it wasn't Alan Wake. But I mean, this has to mean that they're going to at least look into making an Alan Wake sequel in the future. They do have Control, which is releasing this August, I believe. Maybe September. Which has me super excited. But definitely excited to see what else they have coming down the pipeline, because I really enjoyed these games.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I've definitely been meaning to check them out. So I think this might get it to me. And especially with this, I mean, this opens up to potentially getting a remaster or, something of the like. So guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm. For sure. You want to take the next one?
Sure, I can do. So this next one here is about fan favorite, Cuphead. Actually, if you remember, I think same E3 we were talking about earlier, which was 2018, they announced that they were working on a DLC. This DLC is called The Delicious Last Course, or DLC, cleverly named, as I would expect nothing less out of these guys. The quality they work at, though, has dictated that, unfortunately, they must push this back a little bit. So it has been delayed to 2020. Reading from a IGN article by Ryan McCaffrey, it says in a press release, the team cited a desire to avoid the unhealthy crunch on a project that is all too common in the gaming industry, saying, "The development of the original game taught us a great deal about the importance of making things in a way that's healthy and sustainable for our team. It also sounds like the DLC simply needed more time in general. While we initially announced a 2019 release date for the Delicious Last Course expansion, Studio MDHR said, our highest priority is making sure this new adventure meets the meticulous level of care and quality we always strive for. We'll be moving the release of the Delicious Last Course for all platforms to 2020. However, they did drop a new trailer for the expansion, which is available to view. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube or wherever else. Overall, not super surprising news, as we hadn't seen anything on it in quite some time. So I don't know that anybody had really been. I honestly forgot about it. To be entirely straight with you, it was something that just kind of flew under the radar after it was announced, with all the other big hubbub around the show that year. But it's good to see that they're still working on it, and that they're not going to subject their employees to this unhealthy crunch that the industry's had or has been plagued by for most game studios. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting to see that they're still working on it, and I just hope it's a quality product when it comes out. The original game was so ridiculously well crafted. I think a DLC could be exactly what we hope for, as long as it's done right, and it sounds like that's what they're going for.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you said, I think all three of us are pretty open that we really enjoy Cuphead, and we love what Studio MDHR did with the game. Like you said, this is 100% not surprising. In fact, the only surprising thing about this is that we didn't get this news earlier. I'm really surprised, because E3 was the perfect time to show off something for it if it was coming this year. The fact that they didn't show it was like, okay, this is getting delayed, which not surprising at all. They are hand drawing every single frame in this, just like they did with the original game, and that game was delayed for 3-4 years, and it's not, we're not getting I don't think we're getting a situation where they're just pushing it back, and it's going to come out and be a bad game. I think they've proven themselves that they are putting as much quality into the game as they can, and that's just awesome to see. All right, let's move on. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order's lightsaber has been updated following E3 feedback, Connor. Have you been complaining about the lightsabers in Jedi Fallen Order?
I haven't, to be entirely honest, and I didn't even know this was a thing until you pulled this story for today's show. I was totally unaware that there was any kind of outrage on this. So Why don't you tell me about it? What's going on?
All right, well, Kyle Hilliard from Game Informer is telling us that capping off their month of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order coverage, game director Stig Asmussen, I hope I said that right, called into the Game Informer show, blah, 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 answered lingering questions. More specifically, the blade apparently lacked... One of the show's viewers asked about protagonist Cal Kestis's lightsaber, stating that the blade didn't deliver as much vibrancy as we usually see from these weapons. More specifically, the blade apparently lacked the bright white light in its center. We made a mistake on that one, and since then, we have fixed it. As Musin said during the interview, that was fair feedback and criticism. We've tweaked the light and also tweaked the shape of the lightsaber blade a little. You can see the difference right away. So yeah, I'm with you. I did not even know this was a thing. I did not notice. Star Wars fans are very meticulous though, and they complain about everything. So it doesn't surprise me, but whatever. I'm sure it looks better. I guess there's a little white light in it now and it looks more vibrant. So that's cool. I'm always for those kind of small improvements. It's just a slow week for news, man.
It really is. You know, I guess really the great thing about this story is that they're paying attention to the source material and they're at least receptive to fan feedback. You know, they're hearing what people are saying, and not only that, if people were complaining about that at the E3 demo, that was a relatively quick turnaround for changing that. So it shows that they're paying a lot of attention, and I hope it gives us a good Star Wars game in the end.
Yeah, for sure. With the showing of Star Wars at E3, they definitely, from what everyone that was there is saying, like the behind doors demo was like so much better than what they showed during the live stream. So I think Respawn is taking the feedback very seriously, because I won't say that the feedback from the live stream was bad or anything, but it definitely wasn't like arousing applause or anything. There was definitely some people in there like, okay, whatever, and that's just not acceptable for a Star Wars game. Like, it's just not. That franchise, you have to have a top of the line outing from that franchise with anything it puts out, whether it be movies, shows, books, whatever. Like, you're just not going to get away with just okay, and that's one reason why EA is just constantly under fire from fans of Star Wars. But Respawn is a very different company for EA. They're definitely going to put their best into it. They want to show that they can do this right, and they have the past to back it up.
Yeah, I mean, there's some incredible talent at that studio, and if anybody can pull off a successful spin with a franchise as big as Star Wars, I mean, it's these guys at Respawn. They've been pumping quality for so long. Out of anybody in the industry, I think I trust these guys most to do right by the Star Wars name. So very excited to see the final product here. I think that clip you were talking about where they showed it in private at E3 showings, I do believe they made that public recently. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but it did feature some more stuff like AT-AT battles and just some really, really cool things. So I think I'm going to have to go check that out now.
All right. Yeah. All right. So on to our topic of the show. Like I said earlier at the beginning of this show, write into us at Pixel Street Pod, Facebook.com/Pixel Street Podcast. Hit us up on YouTube. Hit us up on any podcast service besides Spotify because they hate us. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about. We will talk about anything. This week, Connor came up with a topic for just talking about the Dr. Disrespect ban, because this was a big thing during E3. For those who don't know, the idiot took a camera crew into the public bathroom there. He was well, I don't know if it was immediately, but he was banned from Twitch. Did he get kicked out of E3?
Yeah, so the progression of it, if I remember, is that he was doing his first IRL stream for his Twitch channel. which IRL, if you're unfamiliar, is just kind of the, you're live streaming your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be game focused. It's something that Twitch launched probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago or so now. And he was celebrating his first one as a big E3 event and kind of walking people around the show floor, having his cameraman follow him around and do things there. He actually walked into a bathroom not once, not twice, but 3 times while live streaming. 3 whole times he did this, which was kind of absolutely insane because, common sense says just don't do that. Not only that, but in the state of California, it is a criminal offense to film in a bathroom. It has a law against it. So that all happened. After the 3rd time, his channel did get shut down. It got banned, and yeah, you're right. They did actually revoke his E3 badge and essentially kick him out of the conference, which for him had to have been a super bummer because it was very early in the conference too. I mean, it was like a Monday or a Tuesday that he got kicked out, so he missed out on a lot. Which good. He made a really dumb mistake.
Yeah, the one thing though that is actually it just shows that there's like no real justice in the world. Twitch only banned his Twitch account for 2 weeks, and like there was this whole big hype before it got reactivated. Just people subscribing to him, giving him donations, even though he wasn't streaming yet. It just like cool, like yeah, gave him a little slap on the wrist, and because he makes you money, he's just gonna get out of this scot-free. I don't think they've released any of the legal stuff out of this. We probably won't hear any of that, but I think it would be very interesting to see like just what kind of fines or whatever he had to pay for this, because like you said, it was a criminal offense in California that like there were kids in the bathroom while he was streaming, and like that's just never okay. And I hate it that he's just grown more popular because of all this. Like it kind of makes me sick to my stomach.
I'm somebody who has casually enjoyed some of his content in the past. I think that he does have the capability to be a very good entertainer, but then he just does things like this. I understand that his whole persona is kind of based around him being edgy or, kind of living on the edge sort of mentality. But, when you're in the public eye like this, and when you are a content creator or a production manager even, or whoever his camera guy was, you have to make yourself familiar with things like this. You can't just go off the cuff with stuff like this. There's so many laws and regulations for these things that matter, but not only that, it's also a question of morality. Like you said, when his channel was down, people were just subbing to it. He was offline, he wasn't available. People were just subbing and running donation trains and stuff, all in support. And it's just definitely not the right look. And to talk about Twitch's side of it a little bit, the fact that they only gave him a 2-week ban is kind of crazy. Like, there's certainly a level of favoritism there that has to be in play. I'm sure they would deny it or whatever, but if a smaller channel did this, a channel that doesn't bring in so much revenue, I mean,
they're gone for good.
Yeah, they wouldn't have a channel. They would not be welcome on Twitch, and I really can't help but feel like the only reason he returned was so that he doesn't go to one of Twitch's competitors, Mixer or whoever else is out on there, YouTube Gaming, etc.
YouTube would have been a big one.
And make them money, because he is one of the highest grossing streamers on Twitch. So, this feels like a slap on the wrist more than anything, when I think at the very least we should have saw a month-long ban out of this. I mean, maybe heavy fines or restrictions or something. Like you said, I mean, there were kids in the bathroom, and a lot of his viewers' defenses were, oh, well, E3 rules say that there's no kids to be on the show floor. And my answer to that is, okay, that's great, but there were kids in the bathroom. Like,
yeah, there's still kids there.
Whether or not they're supposed to be there or not is besides the point. Like, he still did it. He needed to. And, honestly, the most frustrating and kind of messed up thing about all this is that he didn't even issue an apology until like 3 weeks later, nearly. I mean, it was very recently. Maybe not 3 weeks.
He's been since the ban. He's been essentially just radio silent.
Yeah, he was, and then once it was announced that he was coming back or that it was getting closer or whatever, he started just cracking jokes about the whole thing and really just making it into some kind of silly bullshit, to be honest. And then after the fact, after people kind of got outraged at that, he went on his personal Twitter and wrote a twit longer. And even that is really just a lackluster kind of tone deaf response for what he did. So it's disappointing.
I actually have that pulled up here, so
yeah, sure.
I'll read it real quick because I haven't read this yet, so I have no idea what this is about going into it. So here's that huge thing, the twit longer that you were talking about. I'd like to talk about Dr. Disrespect's Twitch ban from E3. This was my first IRL stream as the doc, and if it's obvious by now, one of the things I try to stay true with is authenticity. Real-life personas are so difficult to pull off, especially in today's society. Doc is edgy, highly opinionated, cocky, etc., and that certainly adds to the difficulty in staying authentic without offending anyone on a deeper personal level. So, no one was offended that he was streaming in a bathroom with kids, whatever. We were walking around filming at E3. We clearly weren't thinking about the laws / repercussions of filming in the bathroom because honestly, it wasn't in our mind frame at the time. We were sort of all in with the doc live stream experience and capturing the E3 event through the character. We were so into the E3 IRL journey that we became a little blind in what's okay and what's not okay. We had no ill intentions, and I feel that was pretty obvious if you watched the entire thing. We wanted to capture an adventure. Unfortunately, we took that adventure into the wrong areas, unaware of the legalities surrounding it. On behalf of the Dr. Disrespect brand, I apologize for this. I've sat back and absorbed a lot of opinions on the incident and the aftermath. I think those that have followed me for years outside of the character, even before Twitch, know what kind of person I am. I have an incredible support system from family, friends, business partners, community, and following. I'm very lucky to be considered an influential person in this entertainment space. Believe me, I don't take it for granted. We are working on a lot of things that take time that will hopefully continue to elevate the brand and gaming entertainment as a whole into the mainstream space. I have a ruthless passion for creativity, for entertaining people, making people laugh, growing new tools and tech, etc. This incident was a step back, but like anything, we learn, become stronger, and move forward. If you follow the brand or myself, I hope you continue to stay with me on this vision. So, yeah, no, that's a terrible apology.
It sucks.
That's just him talking up his own brand. Yeah, that's awful. That's just him saying,
he didn't accept the responsibility for anything.
Not getting.
He just basically was like, oh, we were unaware of the legality. Fuck the legality. What about the morality of the whole thing? Like, you just shouldn't be going to film in a bathroom. If anything, if it's a private bathroom, whatever. Okay, if you want to get weird with it. But a public bathroom at a convention center, nobody's expecting to be filmed in there. It's a bad look, man. And his response to it sucks even more.
And seriously, his excuse is that the persona is edgy, highly opinionated, cocky, and all that stuff. It's like, you're still a fucking human being. You know this is wrong.
Absolutely.
I don't care if you're fucking playing a character. We all know Dr. Disrespect is a character, and that's cool and everything. But at some point, the character has to stop when you're getting into topics like this. It's not fucking cool, man. And this is his second time away from Twitch, I think, because the last time he took an extended break was because he was cheating on his wife, and then there's other things out there that he's kind of gotten a little trouble for with the Dr. Disrespect persona. It's just fucking keep it to gaming. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, like I said,
you're fine.
There's some stuff that he's done in the past that I thought was great. I think that he does have some serious value as an entertainer. I think that he can be very funny. The problem is, it sounds like he really doesn't know where to stop himself from crossing the line. And until he figures that out, we're just going to see repeat cases like this.
Yeah, and then Twitch is just going to be like, oh no, you're out for 2 weeks, while 2,000 account streamer here is going to try the same exact thing here. They're going to be like, oh, well, they're probably going to do like a public test thing to see like just how far Twitch will go with them, and then they'll get the full ban. And man, I just don't like this whole situation. I personally think he should have been gone for 6 months at least. Like I said, I don't know any of the legality stuff in here. I don't know if he got like a fine. I don't know if there was talk about him like spending like, I don't know, a couple of days in jail or something. I have no idea. But man, this whole situation doesn't make me feel good.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And it just blows.
Yeah. But Connor, that does it for episode 66 of the Pixel Street Podcast. I'm John Hansen. You can find me at Revix Shadows. Search for me on YouTube, Revix Shadows, or youtube.com/JohnJW92. Man, I've got some cool stuff coming up, I think. I might be working with a radio station here pretty soon. I've got a bunch of different blogs going up all the time. Just be sure to keep track of me on my Twitter, and you will stay up to date with all of that. Joel Campos is at Campos63. I know he is writing for Culture of Gaming right now. I don't know what else he is up to because I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks, but hopefully we'll have him back next week to talk some more. Connor, where can the people find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter at TheRealBirch. That's Birch without an I, so BRCH. I'm also on Mixer by Birch, again with no I. And I'm on Xbox as well, XBirch, again with no I. No I in team, so there's no I in my name. That's about it.
But I'm in you.
That's scary. Yeah, it's time for this to end.
Man, we're doing pretty good. We're a little under an hour here. I do want to say that now that I'm all moved into my apartment now, I want to get us streaming on a more regular basis. So I would say expect sometime this weekend. I will be streaming some Super Mario Maker 2 on my Twitch. That will be twitch.com/rev_x_shadows. I'll be posting it on both my personal Twitter and at Pixel Street Pod. Also expect in the future me and Connor streaming some Apex because, like we said earlier, we're going to be playing a lot of that. Regardless, though, thank you so much for listening, guys. Please leave us some comments on how we can get better. Let us know topics of the weeks you want talked about. Whatever the case, get a hold of us. We would love to talk with you. That all being said, it's time to end this. Thanks all for listening. Bye.
Bye.